Hey everyone, welcome. It's good to see you all today. Thanks for being here. So we're on page 41 in the journal, and if you'd like to take some notes today, you can pull that out. We will have a brainstorming moment here toward the beginning. Um, so one announcement first is that Outdoor School is continuing to search for male counselors, particularly male counselors. And so the application deadline for everyone is February 6th, with training dates on February 18th and March 24th. So if you are curious about this, I do have a few more flyers up front here after class if you'd like to grab one of those for anyone that's interested. So they have many female applicants, but not enough male applicants. So all of you are still eligible to apply, but they are particularly short on applications for males. So that's an opportunity for you. And then we'll take a moment to come into our presence for today. As we think about home related to what Brendan was talking about on Monday, the concept, the idea of home and what that means, how that feels, what that looks like for you. So today I'll be talking a lot about our cycles related to Earth. So here is our coming to presence today. Earth, fire, water, and air, four elements that shaped our universe and that live inside of you. As you bring awareness to your body, the location of your body in space, the position of your head and back, your shoulders and arms, your legs and feet, you feel your body sitting, your body breathing, landing on a natural breathing pattern as we investigate those elements. The earth element, solid form. Where in your body can you feel into this solidity? Might be in your skeletal structure, might be your bones, the lattice of you, as well as the mass of your muscles and connective tissues, the sinew and the organs, appreciating your weight and how you occupy space, your firmness, your groundedness, what gravity is acting on, your earth, your solid nature, solid like a mountain. Then we shift our awareness to the water element, tuning into this sense in our bodies of liquidity and cohesion, where there is both stickiness and flow of the water in our bodies, sliding and shifting, releasing, coming together. You might feel it in the moisture of your eyes, in the moisture in your mouth, the sweat on your body. There's a permeability to the water element. It's a borderland between surfaces where motion lives, a flow of fluid. You might feel it or not feel it. It's just working for you. That peristalsis, the movement of things in your GI tract, the pulsating of your blood, the trickle of lymphs in your body. So now bring attention to the fire element in your body, the awareness of your temperature, what parts of you are warmer and cooler, the flow of warmth away from your core. There's motion as well in this element, transference of energy between forms, in the skin, at the back of the throat, inside your core, right? Atoms are in constant motion, the warmth of molecules bouncing off each other, the busyness, the mitochondria of our cells creating fuel and propelling us forward. And then to the air element, felt most prominently in the movement of air in the body breathing. Can you appreciate the spaciousness in the parts of your body that accept air, allowing in the wind that carries oxygen and carbon dioxide? finding the breeziness of life in these empty zones, the nostrils, the mouth, the trachea. Here air flows, sometimes turbulent, sometimes nearly still. So as we think about these four elements, our body breathing, the sensation of gravity, as you settle in this way, bring your awareness to the sights and sounds around you, taking note that everything around you is made of earth. At the end of week 4 in your journal, you'll find this prompt, this opportunity for you, solve a nature mystery, extra credit. So you'll make an observation. That means you'll make a sketch or you'll take a photo and include that in your journal. Something that you don't understand in nature. And then you'll figure it out. You'll do some research, maybe asking people that might know, talking to people that you know that have knowledge that you don't, which is pretty cool. You might do some searching in the library. You might go online and see if you can figure it out that way. So it's resolve a nature mystery, something that is unknown to you, but that you can figure it out as you move through your days. You can hand this in to your TA anytime between now and April 17th. So this is an extra credit opportunity for you. So here we are thinking about home, thinking about our home, this planet, and understanding the theme of this class is that we are not apart from Earth, but we are a part of Earth. So those little words make a big difference. So take a moment and jot down there in your journal, how do you participate in Earth's cycles? Challenge yourself to list 3 or more ways that you participate in Earth cycles, that we all do. And when you have 3 or more, then go ahead and talk to your neighbor or somebody behind you, somebody in front of you. Compare your list.
No, I said like I got to sleep. Yeah.
So I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the ways that you or your partner listed? Microphone is ready. Thank you, Alana.
We kind of talked about more of like Earth cycles. So we had like day and night or seasons, also like the water cycle. Or my first thought was like when we talk to plants per se, then we give them CO2 and then they can grow, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, so you hit on the air cycle, the water cycle, and then those seasonal cycles of that do affect us, right? They change our behavior. They that do affect us. We won't be covering that too much today, but it is definitely a cycle that we are part of. And then the cycle of day and night, also really vital to the workings of our humanness. Anybody else have something to add?
Ashlyn and I were talking about how maybe a possible one could be with us driving cars, like in some way we're participating in like the CO2 and gas cycle. And then Ashlyn also has one to say.
Also thought about the moon and the way it can affect our bodies and the tides.
Yeah, sweet. Two different ones, great. So the way that we move through the world affects the Earth cycles, right, which then affect us. The moon cycles. So these are all really beautiful. There's one more up there. You-
My mom has like a basil plant on the windowsill whenever it's like nice out. It's like like the seasonal cycle and stuff. She'll make basil and stuff.
Oh yeah. So eating with the seasons, right? Making pesto in those seasons with basil, that's great. So we different foods are available at different times of the year. There's someone else over there. Yeah, great.
I'm a really big believer of like manifesting. So I think the moon cycles, especially like a new moon, a full moon, it's supposed to be a big part of like a new moon is and like excuse me, a full moon is when you're supposed to release some of like the negative and bad energy. New moons are supposed to like bring in better new energy. So I think the moon cycles have a big I participate within the moon cycle very heavily.
Thank you for sharing. Yes. So moon cycles, there's one more up in the back there. Yeah. The workout portion of class. Yes. Mhm.
I feel like I can participate in the Earth cycle by like the different times of the day when you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, lagoon, and all that type of stuff. As you repeat throughout your day.
Yeah, so we have these cycles. Thank you. Yeah. So we have timing of things that changes or that might be the constants through our days. So these are all really important. And as you go back out into the world from here, you might notice those cycles more and more, the things that you do on a daily basis, how those are related to the natural world, the timing of the sun coming up, the sun going down, the moon rising, how those different times of the days, times of the weeks, times of the months, times of the years affect us, right? So today we're going to talk very directly about a few of these cycles. So you mentioned the carbon dioxide that we breathe out goes into plants. And so when we look at these pictures, this is an eastern hemlock tree right here. That's our state tree, as a matter of fact. And on the bottom, these lines are where these little holes are. And these are where this particular tree, takes in the carbon dioxide. So these are the little breathing holes where they take in the carbon dioxide and then they let out the oxygen. So, of course, this cycle on our planet is really important, whether it's with the phytoplankton in the ocean, they do a lot of this gas exchange. or whether it's in bigger organisms like these trees. So we'll be talking more about this cycle when we get to the trees class. It is generally, I will mention now and then, that generally it's figured out, scientists have figured out that a large tree, like a big oak tree, they provide enough oxygen for 2 people, which then probably is true in the reverse as well. 2 people provide enough carbon dioxide for that tree to do what it needs to do. So in this air, when I'm talking about the in-breath and the out-breath at the beginning of class, that exchange of gases in our bodies is a major component of our planet, right? And all of the animals that are doing this. There are benefits to us to getting fresh air. This picture was taken at the Arboretum on a night with these beautiful TAs. And so how that affects that air that we're taking in that evening, we were really celebrating and reveling in this beautiful sunset, but then also just the fresh air in that lovely fall evening. Fresh air is good for your digestive system. It helps your food to process better when you're breathing in fresh air. Fresh air helps to improve your blood pressure and your heart rate. So think about it, if you're taking in a lot of chemicals for some reason, it's going to affect your body, but getting that good fresh air improves the functioning of how those organs work for you. Fresh air makes you happier. This is actually fact. It's not just like, man, I feel good when it's fresh air, right? Today is a beautiful, crisp, clear day. This fresh air, the more oxygen you breathe increases the amount of serotonin that your body produces. That's the happy hormone. So when you inhale, you are consequently making yourself happier, right? That exchange of fresh air. It strengthens your immune system, cleans your lungs out, and it gives you more energy and a sharper mind. So on those days that you feel like you're closed in at the library studying, just walking outside, taking some really good deep breaths, and then going back to your studying proves, or it has been proven that fresh air is going to help your body recharge. So that, and then the sunshine of today, our bodies use the sun to make vitamin D. So this isn't necessarily a cycle, but the idea that we need that sunshine to make what our bodies need inside. Vitamin D deficiency can lead to weak bones and teeth, excessive fatigue, muscle pain, anxiety, frequent sickness, depression, type 2 diabetes, rickets, cardiovascular disease, multiple sclerosis are all related to vitamin D deficiency. So making sure that we get enough good sunshine and fresh air. So our ancestors, think back hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors developed as a very closely linked part of the natural world, helped them to survive and flourish so that we are here today. Our bodies still function best in those relationships. So fresh air, period, that air exchange, part of that cycle. So then we have the water cycle. This feels like a very elementary concept. You probably saw this first in about 2nd grade. The idea that water moves through our planet this way, right? And as we know, we are 70% or so water. So even mild dehydration in our bodies has been shown to affect concentration, short-term memory, alertness. So again, if you're having trouble in the library studying, maybe it's just time to get up, get a big drink of water, and that might help your functioning as well. Well, I think that these are things that we sometimes, with the airflow in these buildings, right, we can become pretty quickly dehydrated. Not severely, but enough that it impairs our functioning. So thinking about this cycle, thinking about how we are part of that, right? There's no less or no more water on Earth than at the very beginning, than when Earth was formed. Same amount of water is here all the time. So we drink the same water that the dinosaurs drank, right? And then peed out so that it's back in the cycle and continues to go around. So it could also be that, what's in your water bottle was in plants at one time. It was in the clouds at one time. So thinking about our direct connection to these cycles, where has that water been that's now inside of me or that will be as soon as I drink it from my water bottle? So where are all the places that it could have been trapped in some rock for years and years? That rock erodes, the water evaporates, and so it can be stuck in these cycles. How many cycles has it been through? Right? It's kind of amazing to think about. Well, from your water bottle, those molecules are going to go into your system, and then they're going to help run your body for a while, and then eventually that water has to go back out. So we pee, right? We pee out the water, and it goes back into the water cycle. So from here, from this building, our urine is, well, they composed a very detailed picture of what urine is made of in 1971, because that's when astronauts were going to be headed, different places in the universe. They needed to know how to cycle those resources in spaceships, in these closed containing systems. So urine is an aqueous solution of greater than 95% water. The remaining constituents are urea, which is our body's way of getting rid of nitrogen, chloride, it's a salt, as well as sodium, potassium, and creatinine, which is a byproduct of proteins that we digest. And then other dissolved ions, inorganic and organic compounds. So the stuff that we pee out is 95% water, and then we're getting rid of a lot of other things. This is the major way that our body gets rid of toxins as well. So peeing is pretty important. I don't know how many of you think about your pee, but there are lots of things that we can tell. Even you can observe. If your pee is very dark yellow, then it means that you are not getting enough water consumption. It could also mean that you have a high intake of vitamin B12. That's another way to interpret what your body is doing and how it's functioning. And of course, if you go to the doctor, then there are lots of things that the doctor can tell about your urine, urinary tract infections, kidney disease, pregnancy, diabetes, and potentially just dehydration, dehydration that can be deadly. So it's our liver, our kidneys, our lymph nodes, and our spleen are all filtering toxins that enter our bodies through all the different ways that might happen. And then we eliminate that, as well as lots of other, the liquid that we need to get rid of. So let's take a moment and just see what's coming up for you right now when you think about your pee. So talk to your neighbor about that. Anything that anybody's feeling compelled to say about pee or water cycle, air cycle, if you want to go back that far?
So you mentioned that urine is 95% water, right? So would you be able to use urine to stay hydrated?
You can.
You can,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
is it
So-
just as efficient as water?
If you, well, 95% is sufficient, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you're in the desert, that's some way that some folks have survived is by drinking their own urine over the course of time.
Got it.
So
So can it be used as a replacement for water or not really?
I guess insert if you needed to. Sure.
Got
Yeah.
it. Cool.
So then what other waters, like where else does the water cycle play out in our bodies? Right? So we'll think about sweat. What are your associations with sweat? You just want to yell it out. Oh, sorry, you yelled and I didn't hear. Anxiety. So you get sweaty when you feel anxiety. Salt. Yeah. Exercise. What? Oh, yes, when you're hot, when your body needs to cool off. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So lots of different times that we sweat, and it's pretty amazing stuff, right? When we look at the process of how our bodies do this, we have these sweat glands that are down here underneath the layers of our skin, and the water reserves are here. So, and then up through the hair follicles and the sweat pores is where our bodies create this water for whatever, all of those different reasons, right? So we do this because it's evaporative cooling. There are actually disorders where people are born that are not able to sweat, and it's a life-threatening condition because they aren't able to cool their bodies with their own bodies. So needing to regulate their temperature by being ectothermic, I guess, depending on their surroundings. And so what happens, we create this water, and then as the air passes over the water, then that's what's cooling us off, evaporative cooling. So if we think about birds, birds don't sweat because if their feathers got wet, then they wouldn't be able to fly. So birds will fluff their feathers up to allow lots of air circulation, and then they also pant like dogs do. So dogs pant, they're able to transfer that same moisture and get their cooling going a different way. So there are some debates about whether we can sweat out toxins. And from the research that I've done, all the different articles that are out there, in a word, no, we don't actually sweat out toxins. Most of the toxins leave our bodies through our pee. And so if you hear about going to sauna or hot yoga, those have benefits, but they aren't necessarily so that you can rid your body of toxins. So sweat, okay, very important. What other waters do we have? I knew you'd ask. So we have spit or saliva, right? What's the difference? Nothing. They are the same. And so I have a volunteer that's going to help me with this. What? Yeah. So here I have this this clean vial, and Angelica's going to help me here. Thinking good, salivating thoughts. So she's going to spit into this vial. Okay, go for it. All right. So saliva is essential for digestion. The digestive process starts in your mouth when you chew or when you're salivating. Think about a lollipop. Like a lollipop dissolves in your mouth because your digestive enzymes in your mouth are working on those starches. But think about chewing a piece of meat, and the meat, like if it's a tough piece of meat, you can chew and chew and chew, and it never goes away. So the saliva in our mouth has digestive enzymes that help to dissolve starches, but not proteins. So it starts here, and that saliva can also, those digestive juices help to moisten the food, which helps it makes it easier to swallow. And so that goes down, the food goes down easier no matter what it is. Saliva has those enzymes that help to break down starches and fats. They also help to keep your oral bacteria at a healthy level. So there's a lot going on. There are like 300 varieties of bacteria. We're going to cover that more in a little while, a few more classes from now, that help to keep our mouths healthy. So spit, saliva, 98% water plus electrolytes, some antibacterial compounds, enzymes, and then it has some mucus that helps for lubrication of swallowing. So lots of good stuff in there. So you should probably just keep it. Yeah. It's pretty important stuff. Thank you very much, Angelica. So that's it for talking about our waters for the moment. We'll come back to it in just a little bit, but we need to get here to this place of what's your relationship with dirt? Does anybody want to speak to their relationship with dirt?
I used to eat dirt. When I was a
He used to eat dirt. Yeah.
yeah.
He's not the only one in here. I know there are others of us. Yes. And so why did you do that?
I don't know. I used to eat dust as well.
Yeah,
So
yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Yeah, definitely snacks. What other relationships to dirt?
Yeah, I feel like I used to not care about getting dirty. Like when I was younger, like I would be outside in the dirt all day long, but now I'm like, I'd
Oh.
rather not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'd rather not. Well said. Yeah. So our relationships to dirt may change over time. Probably does, right? Yeah.
I grew up on a farm or a tree farm, so every day was in the winters, kind of go out, get your hands dirty, mostly sap, but a good bit of dirt when you have to pick up the trunk.
Yeah.
And I feel like 50% of the satisfaction was putting in the hard day's work and actually like working outside, and the other half was getting clean at the end of the day was also very gratifying.
What a beautiful balance. So your family's business depends on dirt. Your
In
family?
the summer, I go mudding with my family. And like our objective at the end of the day is to see who's muddiest by the time we get home.
Who's muddiest? That's pretty exciting. I love that. One more person?
someone raise their hand.
Yeah, Brad.
When I was little, the picture reminded me of my family would go to something called a mud run, where you do like a course and running and crawling through different sections of mud and dirt just for the fun of it with a big group of people. And you just get covered in mud and you get a little prize at the end. And it was a good time.
Yeah, fantastic. Love that. So dirt, oh, there's one more in the back.
I feel like sand is a type of dirt, and when you go on the beach, it's fun to play in the sand and sometimes get dirty.
Yeah, for sure. Love that. So being out, being in the dirt, being with the dirt, this is the nutrient cycle of this planet, right? These nutrients that are in the soil have been here for 3.5 billion years. Again, going through these cycles, the cycles of carbon and nitrogen and phosphorus and all of those elements, actually up there, right? The periodic table of the elements, these are getting cycled on our planet all the time. So nobody mentioned growing up with a garden or a family. Oh, the basil plant on your mom's windowsill, right? The soil that's growing your basil plant, the basil that then you make into pesto and you have for dinner, is all dependent on the nutrients that are coming from the soil. So this is a really important cycle that we all participate in every day, because related to the food that we eat, right? We are receiving from Earth and we are giving back to Earth, right? We're pooping those nutrients back out and they go back into the cycle so that they can, be part of what grows the next tree or part of what grows the next plant that fish is going to eat. So these nutrients are going around and around. There was a day I was with my son Henry at Holmes Foster Park, and Henry kind of disappeared. It was when he was about 2.5 or 3. He disappeared from his little play group, and I saw him like over that way. And as I walked closer, I suddenly got a mental picture of what was happening. If you've been to Holmes Foster Park, it's these giant oak trees, absolutely beautiful giant oak trees. And Henry was over here pooping underneath one of these oak trees. Like the restroom is the opposite direction, about equidistant. And yet he chose to go over here and poop under this tree. And of course, as a mom, like I didn't bring a poop bag, like that wasn't my plan. And so I get over there and I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, great. And I was like, great. Like, okay, trying to process like, how am I going to resolve this? And so I was like, well, next time this happens, like you can let me know and we can walk over to the bathroom together. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. That's good. And then he was like, but look, the flies are already here. The flies already have something to eat. And I was like, yeah, good point. And then we just kind of walked back to the playgroup because I didn't have any other solution. So the idea that cycle, those nutrients were feeding those flies, was such a happy thing for Henry, right? And that happens all over our planet all the time. The food we eat makes a difference. This is going to be part of our food class all the way in week 12 too. The food that we take in, it makes a difference inside of our bodies, of course. There's vegetables and there's fruit and there's meat and there's beans, all of these beautiful things. But then you over-process stuff. Think about cheese puffs, right? What are cheese puffs? I think they're made of corn somehow, but they don't look like corn. They don't really taste like corn. And so how is that made? How is that processing happening, right? Where are the nutrients that are in there? Ironically, the nutrients have been taken out of there, and then they add enrichment, right? They say it's made of enriched corn flour because they take so much out so that the product won't rot in the bag, that then they have to add those nutrients back in. So thinking about what you're eating, what nutrients are you cycling? And then where do they go? So from here in this building, if you poop or pee in this building, then those pipes go through a series of pipes until they reaches Penn State owned and operated wastewater treatment plant known as the Water Reclamation Facility, which provides sanitary sewer service to majority park of University Park, and State College Borough. 3 million gallons of that per day. So it travels through pipes, gets processed, and then it goes into this field, right, where it gets naturally saturated. The field grows up the crops, the grasses, and then the nutrients are being directly used. So there is this pretty natural cycle that's been happening here at Penn State since 1983. Other places do it differently. This is at Oberlin College. So all of the toilets in this building the piping goes into this room. Look at all those solar panels up there that are running this system of where you can walk into this room, all that sunshine, and all of the effluent, the stuff that's getting flushed down, is going into these barrels, and it's feeding all of these plants and the fishes that live in those barrels. So it's an enclosed system inside of this building. So what we need to consider then is this combination. Well, let me ask this. How many of you could poop outside like Henry if he needed to? Just a quick poll, right? So considering the history of that, like where do those ideas come from for you? Maybe you just have never had the opportunity. Maybe you've had the opportunity and you hated it. What shapes that story for you, right? Of how those nutrients get moved through the cycle based on you. So we're going to do one more cycle, if you're ready for it. We're going to talk about blood. So blood is made in the marrow of our bones. Blood is always dying and renewing. Bone marrow produces 2 million red blood cells every second. Every second. Daily, the blood's 30 trillion red cells do full circuit of your body, traveling about 12,000 miles inside of you. So this is carrying those nutrients from what you eat into the rest of your body. So the special cells help absorb nutrients, cross the intestinal lining into your bloodstream. Your blood carries simple sugars, amino acids, glycerol, and some vitamins and salts to the liver, where your liver stores, processes, and delivers nutrients via the blood to the rest of your body when it's needed. So all of this, blood carries water and hormones and heat and nutrients and oxygen to all of our cells, as well as carrying away all of the waste products that our body gets rid of. So that's why poop is brown, is because it's dead red blood cells that are leaving your body. There's so much information, as you know. You can go for a blood test and learn so much about your body. So in some cultures, blood is really sacred, and in other cultures, there is more separation. So today we're going to talk about one particular blood cycle, the menstruation cycle. So as you know, this is a very taboo topic in our culture. Many females feel ashamed as they experience as recently as 2011 is when this ad came out. This is the first reference, 2011. Keep this in mind, that females have been menstruating since the beginning of our species, hundreds of thousands of years ago. And this is the first reference to the fact that what is happening is actually blood moving in that system. So this simple symbol of blood. Articles were written with text such as, "Pad ad takes the bold step of showing periods are actually red." Right? It was a breakthrough in feminine hygiene product advertising. In my childhood, it was like people dumping blue liquid on these products and with a total disconnect of what's really happening. Prior to this ad, there was this one reference as well. That was in the year 2000. So in other cultures, it's even more taboo to talk about than it is here. For instance, in a village in West Nepal, menstruation is not just taboo, it's dirty. A menstruating female is a powerful, polluting thing. That comes from the book 9 Pints, which is all about blood. When females here have their periods, they must leave their home and stay in a shed like this one. No heat, no cooling, no electricity, likely infested with animals or insects. They're isolated from their daily household chores, social events. They're forbidden from touching other people and objects. This is a tradition called Shapauti. Banishes women and girls into menstruation huts or to live with the livestock during their periods. So even though it was banned in 2005, the practice still continues, underscoring how normalized this custom is and how deeply rooted the beliefs are about this. It's a deeply, deeply rooted tradition. So imagine having to move away from your family once a month for a week, right? Changing the dynamics of most everything in your life. especially if you have to move to a place like this. It seems challenging to think about that because it's because of this that we menstruate. Females have been menstruating. It's an absolutely necessary function of life. We are in a minority of species that bleed every month. The only other animals known to menstruate are apes, old world monkeys, the elephant shrew, and 4 species of bats. So the idea that why, then it begs the question of why does this happen? Why is it that we go through this process every month, right? The lining of the uterus, the endometrium that prepares each month to receive fertilized eggs. The human endometrium is so thick and nesty. It's because our babies sap so much of our energy. They're so invasive and parasitical inside of us. The fetus has a direct line to the mother's main blood supply, and that means that the baby can manufacture hormones and use them to manipulate the mother's blood sugar, to dilate her arteries, inflate her blood pressures, to provide itself with more nutrients. So it's because our babies require so much of their mothers that we have this monthly cycle, right? The process of pregnancy is so taxing, but we prepare for that every month. We are getting ready for that. So why don't we talk about this stuff, right? What if we did? What if we looked at the dynamics of this? Take just a moment and talk to your partner about this. What if we talked about this? Sorry, you don't have anybody to talk to. Are you thinking about, what are you thinking about? Oh, that's pretty big. Yeah, right. And all of that shifting. Did you notice how that affected your life? Okay. Do you have brothers too? No. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah. I have lots of questions for you. Yeah. I have 3 sons. And so it's like, yeah. So I've never had to actually like, yeah, right. Think about this. Although, yeah, it's still important to know about. Yeah. So, okay. Thanks for sharing. So there are other ways, right? There are extremes on our planet, all of the different cultures. These are the Dagara people in West Africa. The sacredness of menstruation, the flow of menstrual blood carries power. The mooning woman has special energy and a great ability to heal and to see deeply into things. In my village, people seek help from such a woman and they treat her with great respect. They celebrate this time instead of keeping it secret and hidden, like the gift that it is that continues our species. And so all of this is really for your metacognition, for your thinking about your thinking, understanding why you believe and what you believe the way that you do. Remember, you have choice. Maybe that resolve a nature mystery. Maybe it's about you, something related to you. So this week, your Canvas discussion will open right now. And the topic is, what is your notion or perception of natural? Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day. Sorry, I keep having you upload videos and being ready, and then I don't get to them. I appreciate you. Yeah. It's the 4th row up right there. Outdoor school flyers here if anybody wants one.